My name is Alan Phillips, and welcome to What's Good Miami. This week's What's Good Miami interview is brought to us by Simplast, the technology platform behind the most beautiful medical aesthetics businesses in the world. And with that said, we have a very special guest, Dr. Miami. Dr. Miami.
Thank you for having me, Alan.
He is one of the most successful plastic surgeons in the country and definitely the most well-known in Miami. So good to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's been a passion of mine, well, since I opened the practice, and my wife said, get out there and make some money. So
yeah, mine too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, she says the same thing. She says the same thing to me every day.
It's a big common thing.
Yeah.
No, it's you know, I'll tell you the advice the attending that I trained under for my fellowship gave me. Mm-hmm. On the last day of my fellowship, Dr. Brian Boyd, who's one of my heroes, fantastic guy, fantastic surgeon, he said, now the point of this whole thing is to make a living for your family.
It's true.
That was after 15 years of training and med school and 7 years residency and fellowship and all that stuff. The end of the day, that's really what we're here for. Now, obviously, the only way to do that is to keep our patients happy and satisfied, and to do as good a job as we can. It's easier said than done.
It's kind of interesting because I come from the world of hospitality and hotels and restaurants. Yeah. And when you first do a project, you get sometimes stressed about like how things are delivered, how is a meal getting on the table, etc. Right. And the first time I did a restaurant, I was like, oh, and then like, should we give the customer a free dessert or whatever? Right. And I remember leaving the first day, and I said, the only thing that matters in the world of hospitality, and it sounds like the only thing that matters in the world of medicine, is the patient leaving happy.
100%. And let me tell you, it frustrates me to no end that when I go to medical conferences, and I don't go very often, partly for this reason, okay? Partly because I'm just busy. I got 5 kids. I got 4 grandkids.
I got 4.
If I have free time.
Grandkids already?
I got 4. If I have free time, I'm not spending it with a bunch of stuffy old doctors in suits in some, Marriott somewhere in St. Louis. Nothing wrong with St. Louis. I trained there. I went to med school. I'm just saying, I'd rather spend my time elsewhere. But when I do go to the conferences, and I do go to some, it frustrates me that people put up pictures of surgery before and afters, and some of them look great, and some of them are just okay, whatever. But I heard this from the mouth of a very well-known academic plastic surgeon. I tell my fellows, we're in the happiness business. Because surgeons will present and they'll say, okay, this nose, she came in crooked, we made it straight. The breasts were small, we made them big. She came in fat, we made her skinny. Whatever it is. And they just fall over themselves with what a great result they did surgically. And great, that's wonderful, of course. Yeah. But the real question is the patient happy? Yeah. And when a well-known academic was asked that question, he said, well, we're not in the happiness business. I'm in the making the nose straighter business. And I said to myself, I didn't say out loud, no, wrong. We only exist because our patients want our service that will make them happy.
There's a lot more. Just like, you could buy a piece of jewelry in the jewelry district, or you could buy it in Cartier. And you pay a lot more to buy the one in Cartier. Right. And it's the same stone though, basically. Right. But it's the process.
The process is the process. Correct. The experience is definitely part of it. Yeah. And when we're talking about plastic surgery, I mean, I guess it's not unlike going to Cartier or Harbour. People can choose to spend their money how they like, but in the end of the day, you want them to feel like they got good value, good service, good experience, and good results. And all of that follows as a chain from the first phone call or first email or how they find you online until the 15th follow-up 10 years later. Early on, I was maybe 5 years into practice, when it occurred to me after banging my head against the wall that if I don't make the people around me better, doesn't matter how good I am in the operating room with patients, the practice will never grow, will never succeed. So we used to have weekly conferences with all the staff completely, from the girl who's 19 years old, just graduated high school, answering the phones, to the PAs. We would have weekly meetings. We would have a book club. We would make them read some self-help books, starting with how to win friends and influence people, all the way up
That's
to
basically the start.
all the way up, and we would, and each person would be assigned like a book report on a book. And at first they kind of roll their eyes, but then they kind of get into it. And then every week I would have literally quizzes. We called it Bal Harbour University. This is before the Dr. Miami days. This is like before I got branded as Dr. Miami. We're just Bal Harbour Plastic Surgery. And I would try to train and teach.
It's a great place to have started plastic surgery, Bal Harbour.
Oh yeah. No, it was, well, again, that was the advice of the person who trained me. So Brian Boyd said at the end of my residency,
He said, go to Bal Harbour. I've been to Carpaccio.
He said like this. He said, now here's what you want to do. I want you to find the most expensive place possible and open a practice for whatever you can afford.
Yeah.
He said, if you're in a nice place, people will think you're good. I said, okay, thank you.
Smart.
And he said,
what's this guy's name?
Brian Boyd.
Brian Boyd.
Great guy. He has a British accent. I don't want to do the accent, but. And then he said, and then another older plastic surgeon who was just retiring, he gave me advice. Schuster, Dr. Schuster, he said, get the biggest ad you can in the yellow pages, the biggest 4-color ad you can, and put it in the yellow pages. Now, that was
marketing 1982.
Marketing, but you know what? He was right. What he was trying to tell me in his own way. This is 2001 or something. Right. Is that marketing makes you or breaks you when it comes to your practice. And obviously the first couple of years in practice, I don't know what the hell I was doing on many levels, but especially with the marketing. But if you don't market, you will not have patients coming in. And if you don't have patients coming in, you will not do surgery. And if you don't do surgery, you will never be a good surgeon. It's not plastic book learning, it's plastic surgery. You need to get busy so you can get good. And once you get good, you actually have to market less because now you're good.
So
catch-22.
If you don't mind taking us back for 1 second, I have two questions. First question is, like, you obviously, I would imagine, you have a building here and something like you should probably spend a lot of money on technology in the actual practice of surgery. Like machines, things of this nature.
There's just the good thing about plastic surgery is that the technology really hasn't changed that much in 20 years. Even in 40 years. It's still, at the end of the day, basically steel, knives, and a bovie cautery, and sutures. Now, I have a piezotomy, I might have an RF machine or some things like that. But I don't even do laser. I don't do any of the laser stuff. I don't do any. Here's the best piece of advice I can give any surgeon starting out. Think about the operations you like to do the most. And if you're just starting out, you might not have that answer right away. But after a few years, you'll kind of figure out where your sweet spot is. Think about the kind of surgeries you like to do the most, and think about the kind of patients you like to operate on the most. And put that in your mind. If your favorite patient is a retired 72-year-old lady who wants her upper eyelids done, you just get along with them real well, the surgery's easy, everything seems to flow for you, then just focus on marketing to that specific procedure or procedures and demographic. You cannot be everything to everybody. And that one little secret is what's made all the difference in my practice.
So what do you like to do?
I only operate on women 18 to 50. I've already, early on I've narrowed down my focus. Women 18 to 50.
Okay.
And we'll do the same 5 or 6 operations every day. You will get better and better at them.
Can you share them or no?
Yeah, sure. I do mommy makeovers, tummy tuck, breast lift, lipo, BBLs, massive weight loss surgeries, and noses. That's it. And you say, well, that sounds like a lot of surgeries. Not really. I don't do eyes, I don't do facelifts, I don't do ears, I don't do reconstruction, I don't do any ER stuff, I don't do hand surgery, I don't do neurosurgery, microsurgery.
Mommy makeover post, that's like after you're pregnant, right, or something?
Or it can be pre-mommy too, but it's basically, I reshape women's bodies from the neck down. Okay?
So
and I also do noses. I do also noses. When I say no women, it's not true. I do some male noses also. But in general, I would say 99% of my practice at least is all women 18 to 50. Why 50? I think that's the cutoff. These types of operations that I do are very taxing on the body, cardiovascular system, and I don't think they're completely unsafe, but in the environment that I operate in, I don't feel comfortable doing these bigger operations on people over 50. They have occult heart issues, etc. But again, once you narrow your target down, then you can start to market just to those people. And marketing to men is different than marketing to women. And marketing to young women is different than marketing to old women. And marketing to, everything changes when you think of it like that. But when you, for example, if you're sitting in an airplane and you take out the magazine in front, you open it up and it has these like ads that say like, world's top orthopedic surgeons, world's top plastic surgeons. People pay to be in them. They have a picture of a guy in a white coat with a stethoscope, and it lists these people who have paid to be called the top surgeons. Okay, that type of ad appeals to a very specific, narrow demographic. Okay, usually not mine, because let's say if you're a 25-year-old mom, okay. Or a 19-year-old girl,
a friend or a
19-year-old girl that wants breast implants. Let's say she happens to be on the plane and she happens to open it up, and she sees some bald old guy in a white suit with a stethoscope. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
She wants her boobs done. She doesn't want, a kidney transplant.
Yeah.
It looks terrifying. It makes the whole process seem incredibly clinical, sterile, and scary medically.
Yeah.
Okay, which is not what it is.
Yeah.
Right? But who does that ad appeal to? It appeals to other surgeons.
Yeah.
In other words, the other surgeons are impressed when a guy is either dressed fancy in a fancy suit with a fancy watch, and it says Harvard behind him. If I'm looking, it appeals to my demographic. So for a lot of years, surgeons were kind of marketing to each other. You know what I'm saying? They weren't really thinking about who the ad they're putting out actually appeals to.
Well, I think that this idea of retail medicine is also
new.
Like, it's newer.
It's newer to doctors. But again, and we're not trained in marketing in med school or in residency, which is actually to our advantage, because again, majority of people are doing it wrong. The other mistake I see a lot is people.
You should make an online course.
Yeah, the other mistake people are doing wrong.
You could sell thousands of.
Well, we'll talk about that later. Happy to do it. The other thing people are doing wrong is they try to market to everybody with one ad. So like, you'll open up the Aventura News or something, and you'll see a full page ad, beautiful glossy color. You paid $5,000, beautiful photography. It's usually like a palm tree, a sun, and then a lady in a bikini, and it says facelift, peels, tummy tuck, nose job, male facelifts, gynecomastia, every procedure under the sun.
Yeah.
What does that say?
Means you're trying to be everything to everyone.
Everything to everybody.
You have no target.
Never worked. That's like opening up.
That's nothing.
There's a reason when you go to a food court, there's like, okay, there's a Chinese food place, there's McDonald's, there's just, why do we just have one restaurant that serves everything, like a diner, like 24/7, whatever food you want is here. That's not how people think.
Let me ask you a question. So, obviously you've made a name for yourself, but how did this all start? Like, how did you? How did you? Like, where are you from? Like, where does this come from? Like, who are you?
Okay, who am I? So
now you're a brand, but like,
I'm a brand. Actually? So it comes from, I think a lot of plastic surgeons, just by our nature, are kind of creative and like ADD types, ADHD types, like just. Like that, this personality type tends to gravitate towards this field, like gadflies, people that try to think creatively about problems, but not necessarily great business people.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, good surgeons, know how to talk to patients, etc. And so when I went into practice, I hit this wall where I realized there's only so much. Again, I want to get busy, but there's only so much I know about marketing or know about that kind of stuff.
Before you go there, where are you from?
New York.
You're from New York.
Yeah, I'm from Rockland County, New York. Rockland County. Great Neck. Okay, so I went. So
you're from Rockland County.
I'm from Rockland County, New York.
What makes you like?
I'm from Rockland County, New York. I left high school early, went to community college, transferred to Brooklyn College, You
left high school early because you didn't want to go to high school anymore?
Yeah, I don't want to go to high school anymore, and they were like, hey, give me, the usual teenage antics,
Okay.
Wasn't a great high school student. But then I started community college, kind of as a restart,
Okay.
And then I realized that, I always wanted to be a surgeon, like since I was a little kid.
So you wanted to be a doctor, but you didn't finish high school?
Sounds weird, I know. I got a GED, whatever.
No, it's interesting.
Okay, so like when I was 8 years old, I started watching a show called MASH. With Alan Alda.
Yeah, I used to watch it when I stayed home from school.
And so I thought that was like the greatest job ever. I mean, he was like saving lives and making jokes. I didn't realize it was even like a sitcom. To me, when you're 8 years old, I thought that was.
And he was in like Vietnam.
He was in Vietnam, and I'm like, that's so cool. That's what I want to do. And back then, you really didn't have a lot of options. Like when you were in the 70s, you're thinking about what you want to do when you grow up, you could basically answer doctor, lawyer, accountant, policeman, fireman, teacher.
Yeah.
You had 5 choices.
Yeah.
So of those 5 choices, doctor appealed to me because I knew what they did.
Yeah.
I'd been to the doctor. And then I watched MASH.
And they get respect.
Yeah, and they get respect. I mean, I wasn't thinking respect. I was just thinking like, I have to do something. It looked like fun. And so, it's weird to think about it. People go, when they're applying to med school, I want to help people. I wanted to make something different in the world. And never really, those thoughts never really occurred to me. It's just, I wanted to do something that was interesting, that sparked my curiosity.
Most of the successful people I interview are from like the 5 boroughs,
Rockland County,
Island, Westchester, or New Jersey.
There was something special in the water. There's something special in the water in the 70s and 80s.
Right? What's going on over
there? Hip hop was invented there.
Yes.
I mean, like the whole. I agree.
It was popping.
There was like something special about that time in that place.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
but again, I was never like a cookie cutter type student.
Yeah. So you go to community college.
Yeah, so okay,
how do you get to being a surgeon?
So I didn't want to be a doctor, but then I wasn't like a great high school student. So I realized that and by the way, there's no internet. The kids hate me when I say this, but there was no internet. There was no internet, so you couldn't really find out what it meant to be an underwater welder or a skydiver. There was no access to information. I didn't know what a Lamborghini was.
You didn't have the Encyclopedia Britannica.
That's exactly right. We had Encyclopedia.
There was one other encyclopedia. I can't remember it, but I didn't have the Britannica. I had the other one.
So that's it. That was kind of my worldview, very narrow. But of the options given to me, surgeon sounded the best. So I went to community college, and I realized that I had to do well there if I was ever going to get into medical school. I had a book like How to Get into Medical School or something that said, get good grades. All right, check. Exactly, medical school for dummies. And so that was that. And then I transferred from there to Brooklyn College, so like a 4-year college. Best college in Brooklyn, whatever that's worth.
Which one was that?
Brooklyn College.
Okay. Yeah, my sister went to law school there. Actually, she went to Brooklyn College Law School.
Oh, Brooklyn Law. It's separate. Brooklyn Law is like a private. That's done. Brooklyn College is City University, which was great for me actually because, well, we can talk for hours about this, but
keep going. This is what we're doing,
why I think going to City College was great for me was because a lot of my peers that I met in medical school had all come from the same social background, even though they were different ethnicities, different parts of the country. They basically had the same life experience. They were been good students in high school. They were valedictorian. They went to an Ivy League school or similar, Duke, Chicago, University of Chicago, whatever. They had the same kind of cookie cutter, what it meant to be an elite high achiever. And they were surrounded by those people in undergrad. When you go to City College, you have the guy who's just waiting for the keys to the pizza store from his dad. You have a guy, you could have a Rhodes Scholar, you could have a hustler, you could have a scammer, you could have a gang member. You don't know who you're sitting next to in the cafeteria or in your classes. And for me, I think that's a better preparation for being a doctor, because in the doctor, we are public facing. We're not just treating elites, high achieving, smart people. No, you're treating the general public. So the more you understand their worldview and that experience, I think the better your bedside manner and the better communicator you're able to become. So I think that was a good thing for me in the long run. I went from there to Washington University in St. Louis, and then I trained there for 4 years, and I knew I wanted to be a plastic surgeon.
Why?
Even before I got to medical school. Okay, so I was dating the woman who became my wife. We were married 31 years or almost 32 years. We were 18, 19, we met in the cafeteria. And she had a car and I didn't, and so she would drive me around. She dropped me off at my apartment one day. It wasn't an apartment, it was actually a room I was renting in a house with a bunch of strangers, but whatever.
Amazing.
She takes off, and then she gets into a head-on collision, and her face goes into the steering wheel and cuts her right through the lip. And anyway, I run to the ambulance. They take us to a hospital, and some intern sews her up in the middle of the night with like rope or something, twine or something. Leaves a big scar. It wasn't like a plastic surgeon. It was just like an anybody. Fine. I mean, she did a fine job, and then it healed. as like almost like a little caterpillar under her lip, and it bothered her after 6 months. She's like, I want to do something about this. So she opened the Yellow Pages. Again, no internet, in 1990. She opens the Yellow Pages, and she looks for the biggest ad, just like the guy had said. We go in the subway to the Upper East Side. We walk into some fancy Park Avenue plastic surgeon's office, and she puts down her insurance card. She goes into the consultation, and on his desk, just like this, there was a book of before and after pictures in hard plastic, like a wedding album.
Yeah.
Back then, there was no digital photography, so this is how. So I'd never seen plastic surgery before in my entire life. Had never seen before and after pictures. In those days, you never talked about plastic surgery. If you had plastic surgery, you pretended you didn't have it. If you saw your plastic surgeon walking down the street in Manhattan, you would cross to the other side so that nobody would ever know that you knew that plastic surgeon as a patient. But there was this album, and I started peeking through it, and every picture looked like magic. I was like, where'd the nose go? How'd the boobs get there? This can't be the same person. I don't understand this. It was like mind-blowing for a 19-year-old kid, right? I was like, wow. Oh my God. He walks out of the consultation with my girlfriend, and he ended up doing a great job. He had revised her score. And I said, what is this? How do you do this? He's like, and he told me his story, and that was it. I'm like, from that, but he said, after medical school, come back, or he goes, after general surgery residency, come back and I'll teach you a few things. I never went back to that guy. He was old and retired by then. But as soon as I got to medical school, I went right to the Department of Plastic Surgery, knocked on their door. I said, I'm interested in plastic surgery. How can I help you? I'll do anything you want. I'll wash your car. I'll take your laundry to the laundry dry cleaners, anything. And they were more than happy to have
so you saw it.
Like a squire.
So
that was it.
So you go to school. You come out.
Yes,
you
start medical school 4 years. I got my residency at the University of Miami at Mount Sinai Hospital down here in Miami Beach.
So that's
my wife wanted to live in Miami. I actually wanted to live in Alabama. There was a great surgeon I wanted.
Why do you want to live in Alabama?
I didn't want to live in Alabama. I wanted to train with a specific surgeon, Louis Vasquez, who I greatly admired at the University of Alabama. He was just a great guy and a great surgeon, and I wanted to train with him. And my wife said, you can go to Alabama. I'm going to Miami.
So you leave New York.
St. Louis, 4 years. She's like, it's bad enough you dragged me to St. Louis for 4 years.
You wanted to go to Alabama.
And she said Miami. And she said Miami, and of course she won.
Yeah.
You know.
So you come to Miami.
I let her make all the little decisions in our life. You know, like where we live, what house we buy, the little things.
So then you decide to open.
No, so I did 6 years of training, and then
in Miami,
and a fellowship with Brian Boyd and Harry Moon, and then. Yeah, and we bought by that point we had bought a house in Surfside.
Okay.
For, not to make you jealous, for $229,000.
You made me jealous.
In 1998.
I'm still kicking myself for not.
Sorry.
I'm still kicking myself for not buying it.
This is my best. This is my best millennial joke.
Yeah.
You know the problem with millennials?
Yeah.
They walk into a room and they act like they rent the place. Sorry, guys.
They're like,
that hurts. That hurts. Sorry, but yeah. So we bought a house in Surfside.
Yeah. And why Surfside? Because of
we liked the community. Yeah, the community. It's close to the beach and everything we were looking for. It's close to the hospitals, etc. But it was nothing. It was a sleepy little town where the houses were $200,000.
Yeah, I remember.
And my neighbor across the street.
10 years ago when I moved here, they were like.
As soon as I walked into the house, my neighbor Rick came across the street with a big, "Hello, howdy, neighbor. How much you pay?" He goes, "You got ripped off." He goes,
"Still there, Rick?"
"You're still there." He goes, "I paid $280 for a double lot." I'm like, "Thanks, Rick. Thanks."
So at what point did you decide to open in Bal Harbour?
Well, I mean, we were here. As soon as I was looking at Hallandale, I was looking at Aventura, I was looking at all these places.
Boyd said, 15. Go to the bench.
He said, go to the most expensive place. So now, there were no expensive places in Bal Harbour except the Bal Harbour shops. I walked in there, and Whitman took one look at me and said, absolutely not, kid. Yeah. Get out of the Bal Harbour shops. He was a nice guy about it, but obviously, it wasn't over my head there. But I walked into every condo on the beach in Bal Harbour and asked if they had office space. And turns out, 2 of them did.
Okay.
One of them was the Balmoral. They had a little dentist's office in the lobby, and then they had a hairdresser, and they had a game room behind it. And I convinced the president of the Balmoral Condo Association to rent me the game room since nobody was using it. It had like Space Invaders and a pool table. It was like all sleepy, retired people that weren't using it
This
at
is where
all.
like the grandkids would go.
The grandkids would go, but it was completely moldy and whatever. I said, I will give you free Botox every 6 months for as long as I lease here if you let me take it. And the next day, she told me, Michael, I talked to the board. And she came every 6 months. I'd do her Botox.
Amazing.
Great lady. And we cleared out the, you know, those machines had been in there so long that they couldn't get them out. Like they had brought them in and renovated the doors and around them, like the Space Invader machine from the 70s, to the point where they were mystified how they were going to get it out. They had to break down the machine to pieces and take the pool table out and everything else. Anyway, so then I made a little office there, and we branded the practice Bal Harbour Plastic Surgery Associates, even though I had no associates. It was just me. Yeah. But I figured, you know, it sounds better. You're 30 years old. I was like clean shaven, baby faced. I'm like, if I sound like official, then maybe people will come to me. And I thought I was going to do facelifts because that's kind of what I was trained to do with Brian Boyd. And there were a lot of old people in the buildings. And yeah, my first patients were the people in the building and the Botox and whatever else I could do. But the first, while I was waiting for that to be built, I rented a space from Ari Crow across the street, just a little office. And I had a phone and one employee, and we were just sitting there waiting for the phone to ring, and of course it didn't ring. And that's when it occurred to me I have to market. And so I tried to market. And my first attempts were abysmal failures. I paid my one employee was friends with Banner Bob, who owns the planes, the banners over the beach. So she said, I know Banner Bob. He can get us a banner that goes over the beach. I said, great. Call Banner Bob. By the way, I started the practice with $30-something thousand in cash in a brown paper bag. Okay, that was how I started my business. Literally like a drug dealer, like peeling off hundreds.
Miami story.
Peeling off hundreds. Well, this is how we did it. And so I said, okay, I peeled off 400 bills, and I said, go get Banner Bob, tell him to put, Bal Harbour nose jobs and the price or something like that, whatever it was. And he went up and down the beach. And then I got a phone call from Ari Crow like 3 weeks later. He says, I want to thank you for that amazing plane. So what the hell are you talking about, Ari? And I got 4 nose jobs from it. I said, how? I don't know. They just called my office asking for the nose job special in Bal Harbour. So what happened was, back in those days, people would just call information 411. There was no internet, and I had registered my phone number under my name, Michael Salzhauer, not under Bal Harbour Plastic Surgery. So they would go, Bal Harbour nose jobs. There's Bay Harbor something. How about that? And so every call, my phone didn't ring. His phone rang, and so that's a lesson learned. It worked, but again, all the mistakes you could possibly make in marketing, I did. So I did the facelifts. And then I was still starving. So a guy named Scott Hidalgo, who I still know, he comes into my office, one of those big laser salesmen with big giant hands. They're always like football player types, that go into the medical sales, right? Just to intimidate. I thought
they're mostly beautiful women.
Okay, so it's there's 2 types. There's beautiful women that make your defenses go, scatter your brain, and there's these giant, good-looking guys that just plow through your gatekeepers, your secretaries. They're just like, hey, come in, Anyways, this guy comes in, he says, I can sell you this machine. I got great leasing terms. He's a great salesman, and I took it, and I had this big, giant laser machine. I still have no patience. But I figure a laser hair removal, which was kind of new at the time, would be an easier sell than a facelift from a 30-year-old. And so I took my employee, Kim, she says, I know a lady who owns a salon up in Boca. Why don't we'll just take the laser up to Boca. We'll sit in the back of the salon, and she'll send us patients. And that's what I did. Sit in the back of the salon. By the way, mind you, this is after I went to medical school, 7 years of residency training. I was doing ER stuff, pumping, like open heart,
saving people,
compression, saving people, stabs to the neck, all that. And here I'm in the back of a salon in Boca with a laser hair removal.
It's come a long way, the better business.
Yeah, this is before med spas. That was like the first med spa. There was no spa. It was a hair salon and me in the back with the hair removal machine and a couple of syringes of Botox in the fridge.
Amazing.
And this is 2002 or something.
Amazing.
And so we're sitting back there, and the reason, right, is because Brian Boyd said the purpose of this whole thing, your training, is to make a living for your family. So if you're going to sit there and just...
How many kids do you have at this point?
At that point, we had three and a half.
3.5 kids, and you're trying to sell lasers in Boca.
That's it, because you got to pay the bills.
This is Dr. Miami.
You got to
this is
pay
the truth.
the bills. You got to pay the bills.
This is what happens. This is how you get
the fourth one came in 2005, and the last one came 2008. Yeah, so that 3.5 is right in that region there. 3, for sure 3. And I'm sitting
Your
there.
rabbi's telling you, keep going.
No, but my wife is telling me, get out, do something. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so slowly but surely, it was just I would sit there and I would do it was an IPL machine, which is like very slow and painful. Whole body, and I would, $5,000, whole body, unlimited hair removal, whatever. And they would come, and I would sit and I would talk with the ladies, and I would schmooze, and we would just sit there, and I would make them. They come out hairless like a dolphin. You know what I mean? Like, and through those hours of just sitting there doing, I didn't hire somebody to do it for me. It was me. There's nobody. I had no money to hire anybody.
Yeah.
So those hours spent getting to know women, getting to understand the whole gestalt and the reason mainly women seek plastic surgery, although some men do too, but it's 90% or more is women. I got to understand the psychology behind it. And as you know, as a marketer, the psychology is really the whole thing.
What's the motivating?
What's the motivation? Why? Start with why. What's the why here? So that enabled me to both make a living. It wasn't a great living, but it was a living, and also get my first patients.
Yeah.
And then that was in there, and then the next maybe 2 years after being in the Balmoral, I convinced the board lady to let me turn the manager's office into an operating room, which is at the front of the building. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's when things started going sideways at the Balmoral, because now I had actual surgery going on there. Oh, wow. And patients would come. There's a fancy building with valet parking in Bal Harbour. Patients coming in bleeding through the lobby with their bandages. And so the retirees would come and go, what's going on here? So they had a condo revolt. By the 5th year,
they were like, we got
the condo revolted.
Hey,
how you doing? The condo revolted and kicked her off the board, because she was about to let me. They had like 15,000 square feet in the garage that I was going to take and just make into this giant place. And they heard about it, and they heard about the Botox. They overthrew her. There was a coup. And that's why I came to this.
They heard about the Botox?
They heard about the Botox. All the dirt came out.
Who gave
all
the
dirt came out. She probably told a friend. People can't keep their mouths shut.
So let me ask you a question, because it sounds so interesting to me, this idea of like when you were doing the hair removal thing.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like the relationship with the patient
key
was like the most important thing in you becoming the doctor you are today.
100%. And you cannot do well on social media or any marketing unless and until you can put yourself in the position of the person you're marketing to.
And so when you began to understand the patient, how did you go from the Bob's signs in the plane to who you are today? Like how did that come out?
So the first thing was start to get patients in the door, start to get better at surgery, and then that
sounded like you built a practice
that becomes
already.
But no, really, because I just had one employee. At some point in the next year or 2 years, I hired a PA, and my wife was running the books. Yeah. And that's it. So I wouldn't call that. I mean, that's a very small.
This is when you're at Balmoral.
At Balmoral for the first 5 years. That's basically all I had.
Yeah.
But I was starting to wrap my head around and noticing the patterns of what kinds of patients I was good with, what kinds of procedures I like to do, and then it occurred to me, okay, if I don't like doing facelifts for whatever reason, or I don't like talking to 75-year-old retired people from New York, then do not operate on those people, because if you do them and you do a good job, they will bring all of their friends. And so birds of a feather flock together. You're going to end up having a waiting room full of all the kinds of patients you don't want to operate, doing all the kinds of procedures you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so once that thought hit me, I started saying no.
Really?
Right.
So that must have been a big,
have to be brave enough to say no, and you have to believe that you will eventually, thrive in the lane that you pick. That is the scariest, and that's the most. If there's like one insight that changed the whole practice, that was it.
So you
have to believe
did you achieve a certain amount of financial success at that point?
Yeah, I mean,
brave enough. You're like, I can feed my kids.
Correct, and not exactly. There was enough financial success. I wasn't making great money. I remember when I applied to buy the house I live in now. Yeah. Okay, when I was leaving the $229,000 house, I remember giving my tax returns to the mortgage guy. He looks at me and goes, "They're schlag," which means they're crap. Like,
I know.
Like, you can't afford this house. I remember thinking, I was so proud of myself. You know, like, here I finally made $250,000. I was like, yay, you know. No, sorry, it's not great, but it was enough to feed the family. It was enough to get by. It was enough to whatever. I mean, my mid-30s, etc. And that's when I made the switch. That's when I started saying, okay, I'm only going to do these procedures. I'm only going to do this type of patients, and I'm only going to market to this crowd.
And this is the 18 to 50-year-old women, and basically under the face, except for the rhinoplasty. Correct. So, but then, so you have this practice. You're doing pretty good. Yeah. You're starting to you feel what you're going to be best at.
And I'm still Bal Harbour Plastic Surgery Associates. Dr. Michael Salzhauer. Can't spell the name. Can't pronounce it. People don't know. There's another doctor named something somewhere else. It's a mess. But again, I hit the marketing books. And I start to train my practice. I trained
yourself on marketing.
I trained myself on marketing. I read like 50 marketing books. I mean,
really?
Oh, and listened to audiobooks and Zig Ziglar sales techniques.
I love Zig Ziglar.
And all the greats.
So you must have listened to Seth Godin too.
Oh, Seth Godin.
Yeah.
Seth Godin. I listened to all the greats of marketing and sales. And it wasn't enough for me to listen to it, because you need to get your staff into it. You have to train them. So we don't say consent forms, we say paperwork, sign the paperwork. We don't say, you know, you never say a bill, right? It's the investment. You know, well, it's not the price, it's the investment, right? It's all the little language things you have to train your staff to do. And again, we'd have these.
By the way, just so you're here, he also just called out very clearly that Symplast enabled him to do that better.
For all the social media, millions of followers, I'm the least cool person on earth. I can't dance. I don't know. I'm nothing. Okay.
So back to the
but that's my charm. You know, it's like you don't have to be cool. I don't own any fancy watches. I don't even have a car. I have what we call a no Gotti. Okay. Nothing. I walk to work.
I think that the interesting thing, I seen you walk to work before.
Yeah.
I told you, I think my wife yelled out the window, "Dr. Miami."
Yeah, just walking like 20 years. I walk back and forth.
But I think is really interesting, and what I'm trying to get to here, so just to bring you back around, is you went to school for 15 years to become a plastic surgeon.
Correct.
Then you graduated.
Yep.
And then you had to go to school for 15 years
to be a marketer,
to become an entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur, 100%. And while you're taking care of patients, and while you're raising kids, and while you're doing all that, now, it helped that I had no hobbies. I don't play golf, I don't play tennis.
Me neither.
You know, I work out a little bit, but that's it.
Yeah.
So I have just my family and my business, and that's it. So I read all the books, and
was there one book that like really got you?
So much. I mean, How to Win Friends and Influence People was like you can read that book 15 times, and every time you read it, you see something new. And my kids will say, "Oh, it's so manipulative," and so, no, it's not. It's not. It's just facts. If you think the reality is manipulative, sorry. You know, it's just how it is.
I actually have had this conversation with my wife a lot because I am also in marketing and sales, and the key to the term manipulative is that you have to have a negative intention.
Correct.
So there's nothing manipulative about helping somebody see the world in a better place. That's actually the entire practice of psychology, psychiatry.
And I majored in psychology.
See their reality better.
Clearer. And I majored in psychology as an undergrad. And that was called also why I went into plastic surgery, why it appealed to me so much. I also had a big nose and needed a nose job. So that also.
I did come see you.
Yeah. No, I got, you know what, just a little anecdote. I got my nose job and a chin implant and a little bit of lipo the last week of my fellowship by Dr. Boyd.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he did it for me.
He sent you out on top?
He sent me out. He said, before before you're out of here, I'm not gonna let you drive off the lot looking like that.
Yeah.
Let me detail it.
You have beautiful teeth, by the way.
Oh, that came much later.
Yeah.
I used to have beautiful teeth even before these beautiful teeth.
Oh, yeah?
But then over the years, you know.
You improved the teeth.
They get a little yellow, they get a little whatever.
So you read all the books.
So I read all the books.
You read all the books.
But again, it's not enough that you read the books. You have to educate your staff around you because you're only as good as the people around you.
Yeah.
Period. And then the big insight for Dr. Miami versus Dr. Michael Salzhauer really comes from the world of hip hop.
Okay. This is gold. I can tell already.
It really comes from the world of hip hop.
Tell me.
I grew up.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
I grew up in the age of hip hop. I grew up in the birth of hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, why do you know 2 Chainz but you don't know his real name? Right? Why? Like, why? Because they're brilliant marketers. The world of music. You have all this noise. You have an unlimited amount of competitors. Literally, every 15-year-old kid thinks they can be a rapper, kid, whatever. Yeah. So if you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can look at successful marketers and kind of come to points about what they do right. Yeah. And hip hop and rappers, they do it right. You don't need to use your name. You don't need to use your name. You need something that people remember and associate, and you need an image, and you got to think about who you're marketing to. So Dr. Dre or Titty Boy appeals to 15-year-old suburban white kids. That's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
You know, so those are their names. And so Dr. Miami Michael Salzhauer became Dr. Miami.
When did, was there a day when that happened?
You can see it's like once you hit your marketing vein, like once you really, it's like trying to take a drink out of a fire hydrant. It becomes ridiculously easy.
Wow.
But to hit that, it's like digging for oil.
I just got to tell you something.
Once you hit it.
Like literally yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday. So my kids are best friends with DJ Khaled's kids. And
what's the kid's name again? Oh, Assad.
Assad and Alam. Assad and Alam are best friends.
Me and DJ Khaled, we came up through Snapchat the same year.
Yeah.
So we were both nominated for Snapchat of the Year in 2016. He won and I came in second. And I remember he's like, respect, Dr. Miami.
So my kids are best friends with his kids. My wife is best friends with his wife. And my kids went to school at his house during COVID. They had a pod. And my wife and I were talking about marketing yesterday, and I showed Alex. It's the only reason I bring it up. And I said, we actually said why, we were looking at a problem, and we said, what would DJ Khaled do? And we looked it up from a marketing perspective, and it said one of the things that was really interesting and why he resonated so much is because he's a celebrator of others.
Yes.
He's he's non-threatening. And he rises the people up.
Yeah.
So we have a new thing in our office.
Bless up.
Yeah, we have a new thing in our office that we put on the wall. Is this going to is it going to raise the people up who we're doing when we do content?
Yes.
We say, is it going to raise them up? If it raises them up, then we'll do it. If it doesn't, we won't do it.
Exactly.
So back to your lesson from hip-hop.
100%. And DJ Khaled again is a brilliant marketer, brilliant musician, and all that other stuff.
He also understands repetition and consistency over time.
Over and over. First time you hear. Now let me tell you, when I first and then social media came along. And that turned out to be the perfect time. Again, a lot of it is
Dr. Miami came before
social media, but it didn't start as
social media. You're just I'm going to change my name to Dr. Miami?
No. The first branded thing we had these. So I made an iPhone app called iSurgeon. Basically, I tried to stay on the leading tip of the technology whenever happened. So
you wanted to
iPhone
be
came out,
basically.
App Store. I said it's Simplest. The App Store opened up. I said I got to make an app. There's no plastic surgery apps. What can I do? I do this digital imaging very simply in the office. It's 2008, 2009. It's the way beginning of the App Store.
Yeah.
And I hired some guy in India, whatever, to make a little app called iSurgeon. You take your picture, you put it in, you use this is before the face filters and stuff like that, and you make your nose the way you want, or you make your butt the way you want, and then it gives you a score how close you got to like the best surgeon. It was like gamified a little bit.
Yeah.
And I put that up on the App Store for free. It had more than 1 million downloads. It was a free app.
Wow.
Okay, but that was so we put that into a disc and we labeled it Dr. Miami's Plastic Surgeon in a Box. We gave it CDs back when people had CDs in their computer. And that was the first Dr. Miami branded thing.
Why did you call it Dr. Miami?
I told you why.
You were
because
like,
Dr. Miami
the CD? Like
because the CD rappers give out CDs. I can't be Dr. Michael Salzhauer giving out a CD. What is that? Who wants that? Nobody wants that.
So that's where Dr.
That's where it's the first. And I kept a copy of it.
So you made your mixtape basically.
I make my mixtape, but my mixtape wasn't music because that's not what I do.
Yeah.
My mixtape was, you take this disc, you put it in. You know, I always say Fetty Wap only because he has a special place in my heart.
You still listening to hip hop?
Yeah, Fetty Wap just got out of prison.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just last week. Want to hear my Fetty Wap joke?
Yeah, of course.
Fetty Wap gets pulled over by a cop. Cop says, "You know how fast you were going?" He says, "No." He goes, "You were going 110 miles an hour in a 50. Were you even looking at the speedometer?" He says, "Officer, do you want me to look at the road or the speedometer? I got one eye."
I like it.
It's a good Fetty Wap joke.
It's putting it in the mix.
Put that in the mix.
So Fetty Wap.
He's a good guy. He's been in my office a bunch of times. Yeah, back in the day, back in 2017. Anyway, anyway, besides that.
So you're Dr. Miami. You have a mixtape. Things are moving in the right direction now.
They move in the right direction. And then social media has Instagram. And by the way, it took me like a year and a half, 2 years before I got onto Instagram after it came out because it didn't seem, I couldn't see the wisdom in it until one of my staff members, showed me that she had 36,000 followers.
And you were like, I gotta try this?
What are people following? What are you doing?
Was it Instagram or Snapchat or
Instagram.
TikTok?
Instagram. So I opened an account called Dr. Miami on Instagram. And I just started putting pictures of my before and after pictures and things like that. And that went from September of that year till January. We got to 90,000 followers, which was a lot.
Were you doing it yourself?
Doing it myself. In the morning, I'd get in the bathroom. I was consistent posting, same thing every day. In the morning, I would post an uplifting quote. By the way, the brilliant thing about social media that I noticed right away in Instagram, and again, it goes back to what I told you before. Yeah. You have to know what people. You have to think about who you're marketing to, and then you have to put yourself in their shoes, and you have to know what they like. And social media tells you what people like because there's literally a like button.
Yes.
And you can see who likes what. So, for example, if you're trying to sell coffee to a 16-year-old high school kid, you can follow a bunch of 16-year-old high school kids. I mean, don't get arrested, but you can do that, and you can see what they like. You can see what music they like. You can see what. So if you know what they like, you now know what content attracts them. This is very early on, and I saw that women that I was trying to, they always had an inspirational quote. They always had something funny, like a funny kind of cutesy thing. They like messages that are empowering, cute and empowering. So I had a cute and empowering message every day. One in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one at night. And in between, I put a semi-commercial up before and after picture of plastic surgery. Just like a TV show, you have 22 minutes of content and 8 minutes of commercials. You can't have 22 minutes of commercials and 8 minutes of content. So I just did that, and that steadily grew my following. Then my account got deleted because there was a nip slip in one of the pictures. A nipple showed. So a nipple showed. They deleted my account. No way getting it back. I wasn't verified. Nothing done. I was depressed. We started Snapchat. My daughter actually told me to get on Snapchat, which we did. I didn't know what Snapchat was. I didn't know how to use it. It wasn't intuitive to me. It's a Gen Z thing with the swiping and things like that. My staff members did it. We started Snapchatting the surgeries, and that really blew up. And that went from 0 to 1 million. 1 million people watching every day within 6-7 months. Wow. And then it became ridiculous. Then I was like on the news and BuzzFeed and ABC News and the whole shebang. And then they said, "You want a reality show?" I did a reality show. I did a documentary, the whole 9 yards, all at the same time while running the business. But it's a lot easier to run a business once your marketing is
working.
Once all you have to do is pick up the phone and say, "Okay, how much? What day do you want?" Done. Thank you. Yeah. And that lasted till about Corona. That lasted till about Corona. Once Corona hit, the world shifted. It was like everything went off its axis and had to retool and reprogram and whatever. And yeah, we're just now sort of finding our post-Corona vibe. My group. The TikTok, because I wasn't on TikTok a lot.
TikTok is definitely.
I wasn't a lot on TikTok during Corona when I should have been.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought the world was ending. You know, I thought I was going to die, so I don't want to bother. You know, but then once I
spend time with your kids.
But as soon as we got off of the Corona stuff, like 2022, I started focusing on TikTok, and then I grew my TikTok from a couple 100,000 to 3 million just by focusing on it.
So what trends are you seeing now in
surgery or TikTok?
Surgery. Well, no, you're on. I think we've established your expertise in the marketing.
Social media.
Like I've gotten.
Yeah.
So we got the Simplest stuff in the beginning.
Yeah.
We got
how the practice
your story.
The story. Okay.
Right. We got the social media, which everyone wants to hear about.
Right.
Now, I would love to get like a little bit about like
the
where
future?
you see the business going in the future. Like what are some
very,
of the,
very simple.
What are
very
some
simple.
of the procedures?
Here's the future of plastic surgery the next 15 years. First of all, the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be an avalanche of massive weight loss patients because of the Wegovy, Ozempic, GLP-1s, the pills, etc. Any practice that is not pivoting to make those patients happy and available and whatever is making a huge mistake. I'm telling you now, this is the time to do it. It's not too late. This is very early in it, and it's not just in America, it's the whole world. So
this is somebody who's taken
lost more than
GLP-1s?
50 to 100 pounds. Almost all of them need some skin removal surgery, and we're the only specialty that can do it well. You don't have to compete with ENT, you don't have to compete with derm. You don't have to, this is right our bread and butter. It is a bonanza for plastic surgeons, and if they don't realize it, they're making a mistake. Okay. Second, and there's other little trends. You want to talk about rib remodeling and BBLs and mommy makeovers? That's always going to be around.
We're definitely going to have to talk about BBLs. But no.
Speaking about it, if you're slicing up the pie, from massive weight loss patients, 90% of them will need surgery. 10% can get away with non-invasive stuff, at max 10%, or maybe they can't afford surgery. But the future of not just plastic surgery, but all surgery, and I don't want to sound like an Elon Musk stan, but I kind of am.
I am too.
Robots are going to be doing what we do better than us.
Yes.
Not in 3 years, like he says, but probably in 10 years and 15 years. And I see certainly in 20 years, surgeons are going to be supervisors of
robots.
Multiple robots that do things quicker, better, faster, and cheaper. And that's when marketing becomes even more important.
Yeah, that's what I say when you have a brand.
It's even more important. I mean, imagine if I could have 30 robots, 30 rooms, all doing the Dr. Miami technique. And that's just in plastic surgery. Think about heart surgery. The world's best heart surgeon, the robot can train from the data from the world's best heart surgeon and perform amazing heart surgery in the middle of the jungle in Papua New Guinea, as well as he could do it in Houston at the center there. That is the future of surgery. And
how do you feel about that?
I feel great about that.
Do you think other surgeons feel great about it?
I think they should. You have to embrace technology. You can't. Don't be a Luddite. You know. You can't like put your head in the sand. I had a fight with
my sister about AI over Christmas.
You can't put your head in the sand. AI is coming. Look,
she's a general counsel in a hedge fund, and I was like,
look, AI is coming.
And she was like, no, I don't. I was like,
no, AI is coming. You have to embrace change. You can't be like, think about 125 years ago, how many horses and blacksmiths there were in New York City.
Yeah.
What are you blacksmith forever? No. Once the card comes around, you have to change. You can still do transportation.
Like
there's still a lot of money in transportation. You're just not going to be horses.
But it seems like that's like one of the things that has like defined you.
What?
Is the ability to adjust and adapt.
Yeah, that's the only advantage.
That seems like you're
and that's why Dr. Miami could only come from a solo practice in a place like Miami in America. You can't be. It could. If I worked for a university, impossible to get this kind of. Impossible. If I even had one senior partner, he'd be like, "What are you doing?" That's no. To make innovation, you have to be able to like move and take risks and.
But it seems like even that goes back to this idea that you originally talked about, which is you were the City College guy, and they were the Harvard guys, and you had to figure out a way.
It's easy to put your ego aside when you really have nothing to stand on.
No, but you had to figure out your way.
Yeah, right, exactly. When anybody can say, anybody can look down their nose at you, you're like, okay, fine.
Yeah,
it's not the point anyway. The point is to make a living for your family.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Amazing.
I feel bad for these guys that have everything and screwed up their whole life somehow.
It's true.
They got the car, they got the watch, they got all the things the TV told them to have, and they really got nothing.
Yes,
You
that's.
know.
I think.
I mean, in my opinion.
First of all, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, and I actually experienced that on a daily basis. Like, and when you have your kids, and you see them go to sleep at night, or they give you a hug, or whatever it is, but that freedom, it feels like discovering what you've discovered, and then even going further into the robots, like the freedom technology has given you allows you to enjoy your family. Like allows
for
you.
sure. Well, it allows me to sleep at night. Like the Simplast CRM allows me to sleep better at night because I know that I have a pulse on the practice, and like I've never had for 20-something years. Yeah. It's amazing. It wasn't easy, you know. Nothing is easy and simple, okay? Yeah. But it's worth the effort.
But I say the same thing about content, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not easy and simple. No.
It's not easy and simple, but it also works for you at night.
It does. That's true.
That's
true.
Like you're sleeping. I've had people message me over content at 3 o'clock in the morning for marketing contacts, like because they were watching, they were scrolling on their phone, and they're like, "Oh my God, I found this, and I'm interested in."
Yeah. The best part of the social media for me, and the whatever just of fame that I managed to get from it is that the patients, because it's such a parasocial medium, you know, it's like intimate. You just see like a face in the screen, so you kind of feel like you know the person. So when they come in for consultations, there's not really a lot of selling.
Yeah, they feel comfortable with you.
They feel comfortable. I've already explained everything to them 1,000 times on social media.
They've decided.
They've already decided. So it's like the concept, I call it the garden weeding itself. In other words, the ones that don't get my sense of humor will never step into my office because they don't get my sense of humor. They're turned off by my social media, whatever. Fine. You can't be everything to everybody. But the ones who do come here, who get it, they're already sold.
So it seems like it's not only the you said the future is the weight loss.
Weight loss. I mean, the surgeries that come from the weight loss is going to be the big target.
Yeah, but you have the weight loss. You have the robots.
The robots is 10 to 15 years, but I would love to get involved with that. That's my dream. My dream is to operate less and train robots more.
And then, well,
Elon Musk, if you're listening, if you happen to be scrolling.
Well, he just stopped the Model X and the Model S production
100%.
to make robots, which is the ballsiest move I've ever heard. By the way, I have a Model X. I'm annoyed, but
reprimanded my son, who's 23 years old. I just said, remember 5 years ago when I told you I read about robots taking care of old people? That there's going to need a lot of robots to take care of old people? He says, yeah, Dad, I remember. And I open up the Wall Street Journal, and Elon Musk is pivoting to make robots to take care of old people.
Makes complete sense.
Because that's the biggest market. That's the biggest market. If the population is decreasing, you have this inverse pyramid. You have less young people to take care of more old people. There's only so many hands, especially in China, but all other places around the world. That's the first iteration of robots. That's going to be massive because you have to have it. You can't not have someone take care of an old person.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
The third thing that I hear from you in terms of like taking away insights though is that you also have automated the top of the funnel.
Yeah, it's the best. But with Simplast.
So as you put these pieces together, right, and all of these pieces of technology together, like it seems like the expertise of the doctor becomes really the combination of your medical expertise that you've developed over many years, right, and the relationship that you have with the patient,
right,
and then with all of these other things, all of the quote unquote busy work that you had to learn and you kind of built the system that is now kind of available
Finally.
for other doctors.
Finally.
Right?
Finally.
And like,
I didn't build the system.
you built
they
the
did.
model. No,
I didn't build nothing.
No, you built the model.
I see a problem, and
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough that there's software that can solve it. But I did nothing technologically. I don't want to get the
No,
get
but
the
you're
wrong
seeing.
impression.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Listen, like
I'm just saying that, like,
the pieces of the puzzle you
Piece
put
of the puzzle
together
are finally-
can be applied to other people's practices.
100%.
is what I'm
100%.
seeing.
I
Like,
wish I would have had it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Because it prevents.
So you're an overnight success, 20 years in the making.
Basically, and basically, I mean, look, success is measured on a lot of different metrics.
How do you measure success?
Whether my wife is happy.
Yeah.
She's happy this week, so I'm successful.
Yeah. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
it's,
much.
It's tough when they're not happy.
No,
Do you have like a favorite quote or anything that you live by?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh man, it's not always been my favorite quote, but lately I've been saying to people, control the controllables.
I like it. No, I think that's
it. I mean, you can't control other people. You can only control your response to the situation. You can't control situations. Control the controllables. And that's it. I think there's a lot of truth there.
There's a very, very famous quote. It's probably my favorite quote ever. Is Viktor Frankl? Do you know who Viktor
Yeah, of course.
Frankl is?
Yeah, meaning
Man's Search for
Man's
Meaning.
Search for Meaning. Yeah.
So he says
Logism.
logotherapy.
Logotherapy.
Logotherapy. He says that you can take everything from a person except one thing, their choice to choose their perspective in any given situation.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's what.
okay.
And he basically said, like, when he was in the concentration camps, that
If you have
the
meaning,
people
you
who
can do
had
it, yeah.
meaning and were able to maintain,
They had a reason
a
that you can
reason,
survive, yeah.
they were more likely to survive.
All right. So that's it. So
And
the reason is my family, and that's it. You know, that's enough for me, and everything flows from that. And you also have to get lucky.
So you're Dr. Miami, so like you're clearly synonymous with the city itself.
And BBLs. That's
and
everybody
obviously,
everywhere I go. I go to the airport. I go through TSA.
You know.
Give me a BBL. Can you give me a BBL?
So we're
I'm
here.
like right here at the checkpoint. Sure.
Well, actually, yes. Well, my train of thought. I'm going to stop there.
Okay.
You focus on certain procedures, and this
Yeah.
is one of the procedures.
I did the BBLs because it's Miami, and you got to give the people what they want. That's also
Did they
part of
come for the
marketing and
BBL?
show business. Give the people what they want, and the other rule is keep them begging for more.
Yeah. And when you first started, did you have any thought that
No,
that would be a
the
procedure that
BBL
you
wasn't a
would do?
procedure when I started.
So-
I did 0 BBLs in my training.
So what
there
is
was
it-
no
what is a
BBL. It's fat transfer. You take fat from the places you don't want it and put it in the place you do.
So you're
There's no
taking fat from
operation-
the stomach and putting it in the butt.
There's no operation that can transform a woman's body like that. It can truly change the shape. But yeah, BBLs were extremely popular. They were not invented in Miami, but they were popularized in Miami. Okay.
So would you say it's
And so-
continuing to grow, the BBL?
No, it's kind of leveled off. The BBLs, there was
Isn't it a more,
it peaked in like 2019, 2020, 2021. The bigger butts were in. Now they're more slender butts are more in. But again, I did BBLs only because I listened to the market. The market want BBLs, so I learned how to do BBLs before other people learned BBLs. You know, Tina Mendieta taught me how to do. He's the godfather of BBLs. He happens to be in Miami. So between me and Tino, when word got out that there's this operation that can do this, people from all over the world started flocking to Miami, and then the center started doing it, and so people from all over the world started coming here to do it.
So how do you? I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Like, you seem like a very grounded person to me. Like you've talked a lot about your family.
Yeah.
Right. You talked a lot about your wife.
Yeah.
But then we talked a little bit about hip hop, right?
Yeah.
Now we're talking about BBLs.
They're not. Yeah, BBLs. BBLs
Like
are great.
BBLs, I feel like you said in the beginning,
Yeah.
like when people didn't want to talk about plastic surgery.
No.
So
And
how are people?
That is my greatest contribution to plastic surgery.
Tell me.
My greatest contribution is that fact that people, when Kylie Jenner finally admitted she got plastic surgery,
Yeah.
mic drop. I'm done. I feel like I do
Tell me
nothing
why. What do you
else. Because even up until 2014, 2013, people didn't want to admit that they got plastic surgery. Celebrities would not admit it, even though.
Why don't they want to admit it, though?
I don't know. It's some kind of, they want to think they're born beautiful. Marilyn Monroe had a chin implant and a nose job, and nobody knew about it till her plastic surgeon died in like 2008. So we're talking in the 1950s, celebrities were already doing this shit and pretending like it never happened. Okay, it was just part of the business. You do it, but you don't talk about it. And so it made regular people feel bad. Like, okay, to look like that, I need to have surgery. She was just born that way. Not true.
How do you handle that when someone is like nervous about that? Like how do you give the?
I've never had plastic surgery personally. I don't have to anymore.
I think I could be more handsome.
I don't have to anymore because social media has done it for me.
Yeah.
Social media has won the battle, the moral fight.
So it's done.
It's done. We've won. It's over. It's like getting braces, you know. And dentists had the same thing, you know. You can still eat if your teeth are crooked.
And it's safe.
It's safe. You still eat if your teeth are crooked. But no parent's gonna let their kid walk out the house with their teeth pointing in different directions. You'd be like, that's child abuse. Why you're not putting braces on that kid? But there's no medical reason for it. It's just purely aesthetic. And so when you frame it that way, it becomes okay. There's no ethical or moral reason people shouldn't have plastic surgery if it's safe.
So then, but you said you don't really treat people over the age of 50.
No.
Because
it's not
you
safe.
want it to be safe.
The ones the operation that I just showed you, I couldn't do it on someone over 50. You see that there was some major changes to her body.
Yeah.
You can imagine what that does to her cardiovascular system and her whole, And all my patients stay in the hotel for a whole week with that kind of surgery. I don't send them home. Okay. That's the other thing. BBL gets a bad rap because people die.
That's what I was going to ask.
People die. I mean, if you don't do it right, it's kind of like driving a car. You know, if I ask you, is driving a car safe?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're sober and you know how to drive and are experienced, it's perfectly safe. If you're drunk or you're 16 years old, not so safe. You know, same thing with surgical procedures. It's very operator dependent.
Operator dependent.
Yeah, it's operator dependent. So, thank God no one's ever died here. I mean, I'm like super paranoid. So yeah, my patients stay in a hotel and I watch them.
So what happened with this Kris Jenner face?
Oh, I don't do facelifts. I'm just tangentially looking at that.
But why is it so good all of a sudden? Like,
it's good. The techniques are getting better. That's all.
They're just getting better.
And people are getting experienced. You know, like I said, if you have a surgeon that does just facelifts for 30 years, and they'll get better and better. Again, it's plastic surgery.
Is it also because she's like taking care of herself for years that like
probably
she can achieve that kind of result?
Probably.
She looks like her children.
Yeah, probably. It's all multifactorial. Good genes and good self-care, and she's super rich and probably doesn't stress as much as we do. You know what I mean? She probably has a chef cooking her meals when she wakes up.
Yeah. Amazing.
You know, never goes to bed on a dirty sheet. You know.
So I have one more thing. These are the what's good questions really quickly, and then I can do this. How long have you lived in Miami?
Since 1996. 30 years.
30 years. You came the same time the original Delano opened. You were here for the beginning.
I was there. In fact,
it's about to reopen in a month.
1996 or 97. I went to the Delano when it opened, and they actually had a boxing match or something in the basement or somewhere there, and I was the fight doctor. I had to go there and do the weigh-in.
Amazing.
Because a friend of mine, when I was young.
That was a good time.
I was 24 or something like that, and a friend of mine was a promoter, and he's like, "Dude, I need a doctor." I need a doctor for this professional fight. I'm like, I'm a doctor.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Right here, down the block, Bay Harbor Islands.
Bay Harbor Islands. And what is your morning routine?
I wake up at 5 o'clock. I go to the bathroom. How detailed do you want? I put on my socks.
It's up to you.
I come to the office. I work out. I go from
here.
You
work out in the office?
And then I have a gym upstairs and a shower, everything. Got a little. It's like I try to make everything close to home. I live literally a couple blocks away from the office, and then I go to synagogue. Okay, I pray every day, every morning.
It's filling
every day, and then
What time are you in the synagogue?
6:50. So by 6:50, I get out at 7:30. I go to the hotel, see my patients, usually, come to the office, mark the patients, start surgery. We finish around 8, 9, go home.
At night?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, it's a long day.
In between, I see patients, see consults, do content, whatever.
Yeah.
My kids are now grown, so they come to the office, they hang out. My 23-year-old has a business that he runs out of the 4th floor. My 22-year-old's going to law school this summer. He comes here, just hangs out, I don't know, usually sits right there, actually.
Amazing.
Yeah, I got another 21-year-old that's studying. I got my 17-year-old who's finishing high school now, and I got my daughter who's married with 3 kids.
Amazing.
Anyway, so that's it. But I see them around because they're all hovering.
Yeah.
You know, so that's good. And then yeah, that's it. They go home 9 o'clock, and me and you know, Saturday and Sunday I'm with the family, and my wife comes to the, you know.
How do you take your coffee?
I don't drink any coffee, sorry, man.
Really? It's
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
What
I'm sorry, man. If I had coffee, can you imagine me with coffee?
I don't know.
That would be good.
I don't know what was going on in 1996.
No, I've always been like this. It's like a switch that's stuck on the on position that I can't get off.
Yeah.
My mom's the same way. It's like a genetic thing.
What's a hidden gem in Miami more people should know about?
A hidden gem in Miami more people should know about. Gosh. I mean, there's not much hidden.
Something you love.
I love this neighborhood.
Yeah,
I almost never leave the islands. Bal Harbour, Bay Harbor, the beach. I like the walking path in Bal Harbor. I wish they'd get rid of that obscene Kate Moss sculpture. You've seen that, where she's like bending over, showing her cooch to kids walking on the beach, but whatever. Other than that, it's a really nice walking path. The Bell Harbor
Yeah, I
walking
know.
path. I'm old.
I live on
man.
78th and Collins.
I'm old, man. If you think I'm going to give you, like, I'm going to say something
no,
like,
you're
I don't
not
know, the tea room at 11 in the back.
No,
at 3
I
a.m.
want
I don't know
what
any
you
of that.
like. I just want what you like.
That's it.
You have a favorite restaurant? You're kosher, I assume.
I'm kosher, but there's so many over here. It's like 30 restaurants here. I like them all. I can't even say one.
Someone told me recently about this Moroccan restaurant in Aventura called Paula.
I hear it's
Have you
great
been there?
too. No,
I heard it's fantastic.
there's so many good restaurants.
Yeah?
So many good. It's like,
Um,
it would be. I'm telling you, anybody says there's the best restaurant in Miami, they're wrong. There's so many good ones.
what do you love about Miami?
This is the best place on earth.
This isn't it.
This is it. This is it. If you mean. I got so lucky.
County, right?
In 1996, it wasn't.
You don't want to go back to Rockland County?
It wasn't, no. I don't want to go back to Rockland County. But 1996, it wasn't. But I've seen it grow. I remember on every metric, Miami was like laughed at.
Yeah.
All the rest of
10 years
all
ago when
the
I
other
moved here,
cities,
every house was
all
for
the
sale.
other cities were like shit on us. They would say Florida's like imagine the country got picked up and shaken, all the loose change fell out to Florida. Like that was it. That was like when I moved here, what people thought of it.
Yeah.
And it has really like skyrocketed. The weather, the economy,
That's the vibe.
the vibe. You got South American
No taxes.
vibe. You got New York vibe. You got low taxes. You got the beach. You got hurricanes too. Whatever. Got the heat.
Yeah. Occasionally, you get a
I'm
hurricane.
talking Miami Heat.
I love the Miami Heat.
Yeah, you got the hockey team that keeps winning.
We're gonna get Giannis soon.
Is that true?
It's very, very possible that will happen.
Do you know
in the next
something I
5
don't
days.
know?
It's we're one of 3 teams in the mix that over the next 5 days.
Hold on. You know I have season tickets.
Amazing.
Right behind the Heat basket, right on the floor, right there.
I love it.
I love it. It's the
Let's
best.
go. How do you show your creativity?
How do I show you? Social media.
Ah.
AI is great. I wrote a
And
whole.
surgeries, I would assume,
wrote
right?
a whole. Oh yeah, but
Surgeries?
the surgery is a flow state. It's not even. The surgery is. It's not even creative anymore. I mean, it's.
You know what you're doing.
Creative means you're coming up with something new that no one's ever done before, and like expressing some sort of a feeling. That's why I see creativity.
Yeah.
What I do in surgery is more. It's more. It's like technical art.
Yeah.
It's like painting, you know, like, but you're painting a specific thing you want to paint,
Yeah.
right? But you're limited because it has to look like a flower, right? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
At the end of the day, you know, there are painters that can all paint a flower. They paint it different ways. At the end of the day, it's a flower.
Yeah.
And you can sort of sense that there's some creative differences in it, but it's not only the artist really knows that. Whereas I think of creativity as like coming up with something totally that nobody's ever thought of or whatever. And when you make content on social media, when you combine different things to make something new, I find that more creative than even surgery.
I think that's exactly, the last part is what I think you said is the definition of why the robots will still need us.
The robots will still need us, yes.
The true definition of creativity is the ability to connect unrelated things.
Unrelated
to create new and
things,
different things.
create new ways. And so in fact, I had so much fun about 4 months ago when I discovered Suno, you know, the app to make music.
Yeah, my son has been using it.
I made a whole Dr. Miami
My son
musical.
loves it.
22 songs, a whole Broadway musical with and I used 11 labs for the dialogue, and I showed it to my wife.
I think I saw your casting notice. When I came here the first time.
It's still on my
"What's this guy up to?"
TikTok. Not all the songs are on my TikTok, but like, I have so much fun with. If you go to my TikTok, you see the little musical thing over there.
Yeah.
I don't really make any music, but like with Pseudo, you can make any song you want.
No,
anything.
my son made me a song last night when I was putting him to sleep, and it was amazing. He like melted my heart.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
So what personal experience?
Excuse me, it's the opening number.
In the heart of the chaos where the sun don't shine, a man with a skeleton.
It's like Hamilton for me.
I like it.
Just wait for the hook. Wait for the chorus.
Ambition like fire from the dirt to the clouds, climbing higher and higher. The name on the lips of the bold and the brash. Dr. Miami's here, watch the world reflash.
They said he's just a man, what's the fuss? But he turned a dream into ours. The doctor will see you now.
Ooh, I like it.
It's nice, right?
It's good. It's really good, actually. Soon, I'm telling you, have you
So
tried
much
this?
fun.
You gotta try it. You gotta try it.
Pseudo.com. You'll be
You gotta
lost
try
for
it, man.
hours.
You gotta try it.
Hours. Yeah.
So, what personal experience has shaped your creative journey the most?
I don't know how to answer that question.
Building your
Personal experience?
sounds like building your, like being a father, building your
Yeah. What personal experience has what? My what?
shaped your creative journey the most. Like some people have
mean,
like
I
a
would
trauma.
guess.
some
No, I
people
would
have
guess
anything.
that meeting a plastic surgeon when I was 19. I mean, that set my whole path of my life.
Yeah.
Whole
Makes
path of my
sense.
life from there. Yeah.
One piece of advice you give your younger self:
Control the controllables.
control the controllables.
That's it. I used to try to control the uncontrollables. You can't do that. You cannot control the uncontrollables. You got to just let it go.
What's your happy place?
The OR. When I'm operating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
It's a vibe. Do you listen to music?
Yeah. And the podcasts and whatever.
Wow. That means you have a very active mind.
So yeah. Oh yeah.
You need to have three things going. to
No,
do
but
one
also
thing,
it's a very right brain thing. What I'm doing. It's a very right brain thing, surgery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
The left brain can literally be having a conversation, listening to podcasts, analyzing stuff, doing math problems, whatever. And your right brain is completely focused on what you're doing
Interesting.
in the operating. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And what do you believe? There's only two more questions. What do you believe? Is there something you believe deeply in?
Yeah, I'm an Orthodox Jew. I believe in God.
I believe in God.
I believe that we're here for a purpose, and it's not just all random.
And if there's,
I don't believe in random. I think God's in the random.
yeah, I agree.
That's what
completely.
I believe. Yeah.
If you could collaborate with any artist, entrepreneur, or creative, who would you do, and why?
I'd make this musical with who's the guy from Hamilton? What's his name?
You can't remember. His
Come
name.
on, what's his name? Everybody knows Manuel Miranda or
Yeah,
something. Yeah,
Miranda.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah?
That would be it. That's it.
Not George Gershwin or
No. That's it. If you're listening.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
yeah.
Miranda.
Something like that.
Something like
yeah. Bring him in.
All right, man.
Dr. Miami musical.
Well, I just want to say thank you. It was fucking awesome to have you
You're welcome.
and to be able to sit and converse with you. I really think like you're kind of like a walking enigma, man. Like
I've heard me described. I overheard someone describing me once. Overheard them describing me. It said like this. They say, "You ever go to a circus and you see a trained bear?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty interesting." You ever go to a circus and you see a trained bear, but he's wearing a tutu? Yeah. And he's riding a motorcycle, and there's a little monkey that he's chasing on another motorcycle. That's if you could put that in a person.
I'm into it, man.
You know what I mean? It's like a bunch of different things that don't really make sense together, but you put them together and it's entertaining.
But I think like the binding narrative is that like you really care about the things you care about.
Yes, I do.
And that you put all
in.
yourself into it.
All in, and
Right.
it's be you, like do you. You don't have to do me. I always tell surgeons that are doing social media. I know a lot of surgeons that do very well on social media that are complete opposite personality of me, because there's a market for everything. There's people that want that want whatever you are. This people will relate to it.
The thing that I
Just
love,
be you.
the thing that I love most about you
What's that?
is that you are 100% Miami.
Yes,
Like
this could only be in Miami.
the person, the Orthodox Jew, who's a social
BBL
media,
king.
who's the BBL king and the social media phenom. That only can happen in Miami, and
only
I am
Miami.
so proud that we have Dr. Miami.
In Miami. Come by to the Dr. Miami Tower.